So we've just finished the first week of the meditation challenge and we're about to launch into week 2. And it's been so nice to meditate with you, those of you that have been joining the regulars meditation sessions. It's been lovely to meditate with you this week. I feel like we're really building up a sense of community together. And what I wanted to just give you a little pointer for the next week. So I wanted to encourage you to really commit to this next week of practice. And it's easy after the sort of novelty of the first week has sort of faded. It's easy to become a bit resistant to continuing, and it's easy to forget our initial inspiration and motivation for committing to meditate every day. So I want to encourage you to recommit to your goal, to your intention to meditate every day. Of course, we're going to be there to support you, but you really need to do that inner work as well of showing up. And that will really benefit you because you'll be coming to the meditations, you'll benefit from that, but also you'll really benefit from just making a choice, making a clear choice to do something. When we do that, we're sort of cultivating clarity. We commit and it releases energy because we're free from the sort of burden of choice. So you decided to do this thing, it means you have to go to bed at a particular time, you've got to get up, join the morning meditation, go to the Buddhist Center once a week. And you know what you're doing, there's a sense of purpose, there's a sense of clarity, and then your life can start to form around that. So you're bringing clarity to what you're doing, you know why you're doing it, and you know that you're going to do it, and then you do it, and that gives confidence actually. It gives confidence in your ability to follow something through. And, it takes actually a bit of strength, a bit of determination, because as soon as we do commit to something, what will arise is like all the bits of ourselves that don't want to do that. So we need to come into relationship and investigate our resistances. Why don't we want to go deeper? What's holding us back from opening up actually to the richness and the beauty of our mind and our hearts? Why would we choose to stay up late into the night scrolling Instagram rather than getting a good night's sleep and waking up and meditating with a community of lovely people? So we start to see like these sort of strange habits that we enact, even though, they're not really helping us to flourish. They're not helping the life around us to flourish, and yet the pull of them is quite strong. So when we commit to do something, it puts us into the direct relationship with the obstacles which hold us back, and it gives us an opportunity to overcome those obstacles. It gives us an opportunity to come into relationship with them, to really see them actually, and not to try and push them away or to obliterate them, but you can sort of dance with them, you can engage with them, you can see them for what they really are, and you can make a choice to just stick with your resolve, to stick to your commitment. And that takes courage, but it's really rewarding because what happens is that commitment takes us out of a habitual way of being. It takes us away from a habitual mode. And you might know what it's like. You can be in a positive mood or you can act out a positive habit for a certain amount of time, and then there's this feeling of wanting to kind of have a blowout or wanting to sort of revert back to something which is more familiar, and the pull of that can be quite strong. So when we make a firm commitment, especially when we do that with a community of practitioners who are also making a similar commitment, it helps us to sort of work with those deeper habitual patterns, and it helps us to step into something new, something unfamiliar. It helps us to break into new ground, which can be really, really liberating. What we can feel is a sense of liberation, a sense of freedom. We sort of shake off the bonds of the habitual mind, the things which limit us, which keep us narrow, which keep us confined. So we can experience this sort of taste of freedom through commitment, which can feel counterintuitive because quite often it can feel that we can have an idea that actually freedom comes from being able to do what we want, when we want, exactly as we want to do it. And when you make a commitment, actually you realise you can't always do everything you feel like doing in that moment. And it can feel a bit like, somehow like that our freedom's being impinged upon, but actually there's a deeper freedom, and that's the freedom from the habitual mind. So it's the freedom from craving which ensnares us, from or negative emotion which sort of keeps us tight and isolated and feeling separate from the world. When we can have more of a when we can start to really work with our minds, when we can start to notice those unhelpful mental states arising, when we can see them for what they are, when we can cultivate more positive states of mind and heart, that's the true freedom. So this spiritual freedom is about sort of breaking out of a limited, narrow sense of self and entering into a deeper, richer mode of being where we're sort of free from a limited sense of ourselves, but we feel much more ourselves. And you will all have had an experience of that. Quite often it's moments of beauty, or when we're in nature, or even in meditation, you might touch into that. There's something more to life, which is in the depths of your experience, and it speaks to something sort of beyond your experience as well. So when we commit to something, that's what can happen. We move beyond a sort of vague indecision, which actually keeps us in a sort of, in a nothingness in a way, sort of paralysis. When we commit and we make a choice, we're taking courage, we're making a well thought through decision, and we're committing to it wholeheartedly, and we're seeing what arises, whether that's great faith or great resistance. We come into relationship with it, and we start to deepen our conviction, we start to deepen our resolve, and what will arise is confidence. Confidence in your own ability, confidence in the practices that you're practicing, confidence in the spiritual path. So I just wanted to encourage you to commit to the challenge for the rest of this week coming up, and see if you can get a taste of that type of freedom, the freedom which comes from feeling in a creative mode, feeling in a clear and creative mode of being, breaking out of the habitual patterns that keep you limited.